So, according to Tony Pauline, several people in the league have told him that if the Browns can't draft Cam Ward, they will look to Kirk Cousins to fill the quarterback position. Now, if the Titans hypothetically stay at number one, I totally expect them to draft Cam Ward. And and honestly, for the Browns' sake, adding Kirk Cousins isn't the worst thing in the world. I know it's not great, but I really think it's a lot better than drafting Shador Sanders at number two because, like, come on, man. Let's be honest. You still have Deshaun Watson there. You draft Shador Sanders, it's going to be a disaster of all disasters. And the Browns have already had so many disasters at the quarterback position. I feel like that whole situation would resemble the Johnny Manziel era. Sure, I doubt Shador would flame out as bad as Johnny. As of right now, Shador doesn't have any off-field issues that we know of, so it's pretty unlikely it'll end as badly as it did with Johnny. But still, man, like, it just won't end well. It's too much to ask for. Shador isn't that caliber of like an Andrew Luck or a Joe Burrow to resurrect the franchise. He needs to be on a decent team, in my opinion, to be successful. And I just think it'd be a train wreck. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments below. And, it's kind of funny if hypothetically they did add Kirk Cousins and they still had Deshaun Watson on the roster. We all kind of became fans of Kirk Cousins on the quarterback show on Netflix. Just a good old boy, Christian boy. And you have the opposite of that in Deshaun Watson. So that would definitely be an interesting dynamic for sure. The Browns are just going to be in a weird purgatory sort of place until they get rid of Deshaun Watson. So to add Kirk Cousins as essentially a bridge quarterback to maybe stay competitive isn't a bad thing. I definitely think he's better than Jameis Winston. It's just crazy to me how much love Jameis Winston has gotten the last couple of years. Like, sure, he's an entertaining quarterback, but he's also going to throw like 5 picks a game. And it's just so funny how quickly society and the public forgets past sins. Good for Jameis Winston. He seems like a good teammate. Blah, 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 blah. But that dude has some nasty skeletons in his closet. I've alluded to this before, but I'm just not the biggest fan of him personally. And if you don't know what I'm referring to, he has multiple incidents. Just take a quick Google search. A lot will pop up. But yeah, Kirk Cousins over Jameis Winston, Shador Sanders. I think it's an upgrade, so I think it's not a bad move. I really doubt he would command a lot of money. Kirk, at this point in his career, why would he? The fact that he got those crazy guarantee contracts from the Vikings and the Falcons, his agent really belongs in the Hall of Fame. So if you're Kirk Cousins and his agent, that well is kind of dried up, so you kind of have to take what you're offered at this point. We all witnessed what happened with his time in Atlanta. It wasn't pretty, but who knows, a year away, an extra year of healing that Achilles, he might look a little better. You have Jerry Jeudy there, you have Njoku there. Maybe Nick Chubb could stay healthy, maybe he could have a good offseason, and you could get something going. You never know. I don't hate it, but Kirk Cousins at this point in his career, definitely not a sexy move or anything like that. It's not going to take them over the hump, but we'll see, man. We'll see. And on the flip side to that, if somehow, some way, the Browns do land Cam Ward, I definitely like Cam Ward a lot more than Shador in Cleveland. I'm not saying Cam Ward is a great prospect or anything like that. I think he's a good prospect. I think he could be a starting quarterback in this league one day. But a top 15 guy, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. And Cam Ward, I think it could maybe work. I think maybe there could be some flashes of greatness potentially. I feel like his kind of comp would be maybe kind of similar to the Baker Mayfield era, even though I think Baker might be a better prospect at this point. You know, college is one thing. We have to wait and see what he's like in the NFL. But you let me know how you think Cam Ward would do if he got drafted to the Browns. I just, if I'm Cam Ward, I would just rather go to Tennessee. A lot less noise there. It just seems like a lot more peaceful and hectic of an environment. All things considered, I would not rather go to any of those teams, and that's the whole issue with great players ending up on bad teams. It's definitely a tricky spot, and it definitely separates the Hall of Fame-esque ones to the good ones for sure. Like, look what Joe Burrow overcame going to the Bengals. I just don't know if Cam Ward could overcome just the overall despair of the Cleveland franchise. But you let me know if you think he could eventually be a star for them one day if the Browns do draft him. And there has been some talk of fans kind of going back and forth on whether or not there should be a draft lottery for the NFL. And it's definitely a fun idea to kind of float. I don't know if they should ever do it. I think Roger Goodell should seriously consider it one day, because I just feel like that's another way to generate even more revenue and whatnot. Because if you think about it, look at what the NHL does, look at what the NBA does, think about what the ratings on those are. I swear, man, if the NFL had a draft lottery, the ratings would be like 15, 20 mil at least, just for the draft lottery. And it would definitely be more exciting from an entertainment perspective for sure. Like, look what the Bulls did back in the day with Derrick Rose. They had like a 1.8% chance to draft number 1 overall, and they got the number 1 overall draft pick that year. Derrick Rose, Chicago kid. Hypothetically, in the future, in the NFL, we could have crazy stories like that. So I'd have to think about it on whether or not I would actually like the idea of having an NFL draft lottery, but I'm definitely more inclined to being okay with it, just because it's more entertaining, more storylines, and maybe, just maybe, it could prevent teams from tanking. I'm not saying teams tank deliberately every year. They don't. Everyone plays to win. Everyone's on a payroll. Everyone's fighting for their roster spots to a certain extent. But there have been some straight up tanking in the past. Shout out the Dolphins. Got caught doing that, taking away some draft picks. So I feel like that would definitely take away the tanking issue if there continues to kind of be that sort of trend. But you let me know if you want the NFL to have a draft lottery. I think it's definitely an interesting conversation. And if I had to vote today, I would definitely vote for it. Like I said, man, the entertainment value alone is enough for me to kind of co-sign it. But you let me know what you think down below. If you made this far, please subscribe, like the vid. It'd help out your boy a ton. That's all I got for right now. Peace.
He is a good runner with the football, not like most quarterbacks in the National Football League. They design runs for him just to do it as a running back.
It's caught by Devin Smith. Another third down conversion. The offense continues to come through in the clutch.
The Jets really got it going now. They got confidence. They got momentum. They got a small lead here in the second half. And that first down, what does it do? It just gives the offensive coordinator confidence. And, of course, this quarterback, he is always ready to go.
Just had to avoid the sack. Incomplete.
That's what you expect in the NFL nowadays from the players, especially these receivers. They're so aggressive, so athletic. They go all out for every catch. That time, he just lets it all go. Not able to make the catch, but I'll give him an A for effort. Great situation to be in for the defense right here. It's third long, and even though their team is losing the game, you can get after the quarterback and hope you can find a way to force a turnover.
Loss of a couple that time.
Wants to go deep.
Pulls it in. That's reception number 4 for him.
just so few quarterbacks who know how to throw it high and far anymore. Nice job that time by the quarterback. That throw was right on the money. The defense has got to be a little aggressive here. Your team is down. You've got to attack this offense. You don't want them to get in there and get another score. Good coaching on the defensive side. Everybody stays at home. They stay in their gap, and they hold that run to a short gain.
2nd and 9. To Cumberland. That's a gain of 6.
The Jets offensive coordinator does a good job that time calling the pass down here in the red zone. Caught the defense off guard. They got the completion for a good gain.
Catch made by Marshall. Marshall's brought down, but not until he gives his team a new set of downs.
First down